Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are, if you're watching live. My name is Esther Abbasides, and I'm here to talk to you as part of my Wisdom Wednesday series of weekly lives. And today is all about the high achiever's curse. And you probably might resonate with this if you're like me. So I definitely identify with this profile. So you're really goals driven and striven. You work really hard. You're very much a Pitta energy type. So what do I mean by Pitta? It's a dosha energy. So Pitta is all about fire and almost like brimstone. It's really driving hard, determined energy, determined to take action, determined to succeed. And as I say, Peter is fire, so definitely fiery in temperament. But what happens, and I'll tell you later on, what happens with that sort of energy, the downside of that energy. But there's also a need to prove. When we're a high achiever, we're trying to desperately prove our worth and carve out a niche for ourselves in the world. And whether this comes back to insecurities from a young age, I know I was very shy, reserved, and felt a little bit pushed into the shadows, into the corner. I was one of many children with 5 sort of very boisterous brothers. And that can sometimes determine the character. And it's almost like I was trying to be the person, push myself always beyond my comfort zone and seeking to prove myself and make my voice heard. So this is definitely a high achiever curse. But also we're all very often because we're goal oriented, we always see that ourselves somehow not quite making it. We're perceiving the gap, we're seeing where we are, and not actually, we're always sort of seeming to push out higher and higher goals. So even though we have achieved huge success greater accomplishments, we've had great accomplishments, but there's never enough. We're always setting another goal in place, always pushing ourselves harsher and harder. And again, another type of energy around this is the need to control. So high achievers love to orchestrate things and have everything's work out just how they envision it and how they want it to happen. And this is very, very contrived energy. It's really not allowing things like serendipity, coincidence to happen. We want to literally know how to plan, plot our path from A to B. But we can also be the downside is very self-critical. We can berate ourselves often, especially when we haven't made the mark, if we haven't reached the next goal. And it's very much a spiral downwards. It can take our energy into an imbalance. So we're always then trying to compensate, and we're not sufficiently in the being and not honoring ourselves. So this is the downside. We're burning out, we're depleted, we're always in the masculine energy, never enough in the feminine, allowing softer energy, which can be our downfall. Because when we're in the imbalance and the energetic imbalance, it means that we're not able to manifest. We're not able to do things more effortlessly and with ease. And that is the energy of flow. So the recommendation for the overachiever or the high achiever type of personality, for myself, is when that happens to you, when you're reaching burnout, when you're cutting yourself up, you're very negative in your self-talk, or you're keep on setting another goal, or you think what you have is not good enough. So this is when you need to take a step back and to meditate more, to do more of the spiritual work, less of the doing and more of the being. To meditate, I love meditation. So today I actually went back to meditate around about 11 o'clock this morning, even though I did it first thing, just to sort of, once I've been in action mode for too long, I can start feeling a bit weary and lackluster, and that's when you go back. And the other tip is to walk, to exercise more, to walk out in nature, to journal what's coming up as well, to reflect on, is this an energy that's supporting me? Is this nourishing energy? Is this nurturing energy? And to ask more, to not just try and grab it, but to actually request it, to allow it to go into to flood to us, to show up in our energy. So asking more, asking to receive, rather than claiming it in that sense. We are just allowing it more. So it's this allowing energy, allowing things to unfold, reducing the control, the need to manipulate, to, because this is very much contrived action. The energy of manifestation is all about allowance, and aligned action. If anything, don't take anything unless it feels intuitively right, unless it feels heart connected to the heart. It feels true and authentic, and it doesn't feel like it's going to lead us to burnout. That it feels steady and regular and easy, that sense of ease. We can breathe into it more easily. So allowing, so always allow things to unfold, and then take the action when you feel like, oh yes, this feels like really lovely, really self-nurturing type of action. Then do that, because actually, if anything, do not do anything. If you feel like you're not in the mood, don't do it. Honor yourself, and only then, when you feel inspired, take the action, because if anything, no action is better than forced action. Forced action will always have a counter effect, and will actually not lead to easy manifestation, and it will lead to physical malaise. So allow yourself allow you to cut yourself some slack, give yourself some downtime, allow grace to envelop you, and to permeate your energy. And in this energy, then something happens, something shifts in the outer realm, and something then will bubble up and offer itself to you. And then you think, oh, that's interesting. And you start noticing it, and you think, is that a signal? And then maybe I can step forward and grasp that and take that opportunity, whatever it may be, as long as it feels right. So the high achiever curse is very much when we're trying to do something to the nth degree, and we're not looking after our energy. We've got that imbalance of masculine, too much masculine, not enough feminine energy, pushing, trying to take control, trying to make things happen, which is very much resistant energy. Allow yourself cut some slack, allow yourself some downtime, go back into a spiritual practice, because that shifts the balance and creates that harmony within, and from inner harmony, outer harmony will unfold. And if you want any support, if you want any further advice as to what could be inspired action, or what is better to do in your situation, what sort of challenges are you up against at the moment, if you want some help, if you want some guidance on how best to respond, then please do reach out to me. I'm always available to have a very informal chat, and I love to connect with you further. And thank you very much for listening. I don't see who it is, but lovely to have you, at least temporarily, so towards the end of my live, and catch up on the replay if you can. Thanks very much.